Hello all newcomers and welcome back my fellow Aeternians. At any given moment, over 30 million Americans are food insecure. This means either going hungry or without reliable access to good nutritious food. This being the case, we in the Empire of Aeternia have been trying to come up with ways to provide not only for ourselves and our citizens, but for the rest of the United States and the world that is going hungry. And while we've been trying to do things like creating our own garden over at Vitae, our capital territory, we were thinking there has to be ways to do more. And that's when we figured, let's feed the world with weed, or more specifically, lots of different varieties of weeds. But today we're going to be focusing on one of my personal favorites, the giant ragweed. Giant ragweed is used in a lot of different ways, but most particularly it's used for its medicinal properties, as well as its anti-allergenic properties, despite the fact that it gives a lot of people seasonal allergies, and it is edible. So we're going to be collecting it to use for a little bit of everything, but specifically we're going to be focusing on the edible aspects, trying to feed people with it. So first we need our handy dandy imperial hatchet that we're going to be using to cut up these herbs and these plants to be able to harvest them for their leaves and their stalks. Okay, we're here at this little outcropping that has grown up. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our hatchet to just chop at the base of the stalks so that we can use the rest of these collected bunches to go through and process, separate out the leaves from the stems and everything else. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is just separating the leaves from the stalk. That way we are able to separate out what we want to boil and start to try and eat soon versus what we want to get and process for other things later. So one of the things that's interesting, the Latin name for this plant has ambrosia in it, which ambrosia means like food of the gods. And it's really interesting because it can be directly translated to being like immortal, which is really cool because of the durability of this plant, how easily this plant grows. It's obviously a giant weed. But that's really cool because it apparently has kind of a nutty flavor and is something that is so hardy it will grow back year after year after year. In fact, Native American cultures harvested and in fact cultivated this plant, specifically tried to get it to grow at certain times. And so this, I feel, is especially ironic for Aeternia, meaning this everlasting nation, this forever country. And obviously we need to use forever materials to grow that forever country. So I thought this was pretty ironic and pretty good to use. Pretty poetic, I should say. Okay, and so here's what we've collected for today. Again, obviously this isn't a huge amount. This isn't going to feed the nation entirely. But this is good for kind of experimentation. So what we're going to do next is we're going to get this, wash it up, and send it over for cooking and experimentation on our Aeternian culinary exploration. See you there. Okay, so we have our giant ragweed collected. All the leaves that we separated out from the stalks are here. What I accidentally already started on before I started the cameras, I'm going to go ahead and wash these leaves. Strain them of, any of the kind of stuff that's on top, any of the bugs or dust or debris that's on them that we just want to kind of rinse off real fast. Then we're going to blanch them, which is going to actually cook them, make them a little bit safer to eat. They are already edible, even raw, but we just want to go ahead and take that extra step, make them nice and a little bit softer, a little bit easier on the palate, and then we're going to throw them in some ice water, which will again be part of that blanching, and try them out, see how they do. Okay, so we were able to prepare our giant ragweed, and we even had it for dinner tonight as a side salad along with some rice and pork. It was pretty good. Honestly, I switched over to Tiffany's method for our full-on salad. Having some of the Italian dressing is really nice. It blends really well with the flavor that the giant ragweed already has, so it worked out perfectly. But this is a plant that can be harvested in mass. We had way more that I harvested from just 3 or 4 stalks than could ever possibly be eaten by a family of 6, 8, 10 for what it's worth. It's a really dense plant as well. Again, high in a lot of protein, a lot of nutrients, so amazing quality there. Again, if you can get over the texture a little bit, and of course blanching helps, it is an amazing addition to your diet. And hopefully we can use it to provide for larger amounts of people. So as the amount of people that our local Aeternians grow, we can provide that to them more often, and hopefully give back to the community by supplying it as something for the homeless in our area. So I'm excited to do that. But as well, if you haven't checked out the other things that we have done, we've done a lot of stuff either in little snippets through our Instagram and through our TikTok, or some of them we haven't shown at all, and those are our mushroom growth and the food that we made with that, as well as our clovers that we collected and made white clover tea out of. So this isn't our first rodeo with trying to harvest and collect things ourselves, but it is the first of many uses for ragweed. So we're adding another plant to our collection that is natural, easy to grow here, and something that is generally to everyone else considered a pest. So I can't wait to collect on more and see what we can do to continue feeding the world with weeds. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time. Aeternia forever!